Hey guys, it's Lindsay with the blog Repurpose and Upcycle, and today I want to show you how to make a simple ribbon wreath for the 4th of July with a few different ribbon techniques. The first thing I'm going to do is create a ribbon on the corner, and how I'm going to start it is with a good bit of regular old ribbon. I used a zip tie and I zip tied that corner, and then you can see about how much I cut. I pulled them up through the bottom. And if you watch carefully, I'm not coming back around and going over top. I'm pulling up through the bottom just to see how I'm making the bow out of it. There's a ton of different ways to do this. There's not a right or wrong way to do this. This is just the way I do it. So you can see I zip tie the first piece. I'm going to end up zip tying the last piece, and then I go back in and I zip tie, in between, just to make sure it's secure. And once it's secure, after I've zip tied what I need to zip tie, I'm gonna go back in and fluff those pieces to make it look like a nice flower or a nice ribbon. Once I've created that ribbon, you can see here, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of a different ribbon technique. What I'm doing with this next section is I'm cutting about 20, maybe a little bit over 20 inches of ribbon. I'm folding it in half, okay? And then I'm coming up under it and I'm pulling it through. So you can see I'm gonna give you quite a bit of footage on how I do this. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically you roll it over, you cut it, you go up under, and then you pull it through. And so that's how I'm going to finish the rest of the wreath. And I'm alternating the ribbon. I'm alternating 3 different ribbons. In my opinion, this is an easier technique to create your own ribbon wreath. I like the way it looks. I guess it might not be for everybody. A lot of people like to use like cotton ribbon for this. But honestly, I prefer a heavier fabric in comparison to, say, cotton. Now you can see, in order to finish the edges, all I did was I folded them over and I cut them at an angle, and it really just gives that finished look. So I'm going to finish with the rest of the wreath, and here is what it looks like. So far, I'm pleased with it. I ended up hanging it up on the door and realized it looked so bare on the inside. That's when I decided to get a little festive. I grabbed some red ribbon and that little figurine from the Dollar Tree. It's about to be 4th of July, so I decided to create my own bow at the top and hang that little guy from the bow. Now there's tons of different ways to make bows, and the way I like to do it is, you can see I'm just stapling the edges to mend the 2 ribbons together, and then I just fold them over quite a few different times. I staple them, fluff them, and then all I did was add that little figure at the bottom. I made 1 more small bow to cover up my staples, and there you go, guys. I used a hot glue gun to make sure the bow was safely secure, and then with my trusty zip ties, I zip tied this to the rest of the wreath, and I can't wait to show it to you. One thing I love about these kind of wreaths is I can change out the centerpiece and carry this wreath throughout the different seasons. So once 4th of July is over, I'll pull out the centerpiece and do something different. Thanks for watching, guys.